Welcome to the Speak Your Success podcast.
What's going on, successors, and welcome to the Speak Your Success podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Jones, and we're back. Friends, we are back, and I'm excited because it took a little while. Because what I didn't tell you all, what was going on behind the scenes was just had to just get some things taken care of on the back end, just in regards to making sure to get the podcast out to as many host providers and just as many locations and destinations as possible. So now we're back up and running. Now we're good. Everything is good. But today I wanted to take time. Today I want to take time and talk about auditing your time. Right? I mean, that's it. That's where it is. And those of you who all, this may be your first time listening to Speak Your Success. The purpose of this podcast is to primarily focus on helping you in all areas of your life in regards to personal development, in regards to self-help, for young professionals and those millennials out there who are trying to navigate this thing called life, right? You might be in the corporate arena. You might even be in the day-to-day working a part-time job, part-time situation, whatever it may be. But the goal is by sharing tangible experience and hands-on strategies to help get you from where you are to where you desire to be in your life. So understanding that, like I said before, we're talking about auditing your time. Why are we talking about auditing your time? I'm reading a book called Pivot and Go by my friend David Nurse. And in this book, last night I was reading, he broke it down. He began to talk about life as a pizza. And life as a pizza really just breaks down how we see the pizza, it's cut up in like 8 to 10 slices. And understanding that as we're looking at those slices, then we begin to devour the pizza slice by slice until sometimes we might eat the whole pie, or, until we began to share with other friends. And the concept that he had and he broke down in the book was plain and simply put this way. I want you to look at the pizza of your life. And if we look at a pizza and we parallel it to a clock, then it's like, oh, wow, okay. We look at time, we see the 12 hand, we see the 2, we see 10, we see 6, we see 4, all those things on the clock. Then begin to cut out the areas of your life that aren't adding value to you. I know I've talked about it before in regards of thinking and assessing how much time we spend on social media, thinking and assessing how much time throughout the day we're just doing things that serve no purpose. So today I want you to take hold and begin to think to yourself, where are the areas in my day-to-day where I can begin to scale back a little bit? So for me, a lot of the time I would get caught up on social media. A lot of the time I would get caught up on watching YouTube videos, and I would go down that cycle. One YouTube video leads to this video, to that video. And YouTube and Netflix and Hulu, all of these platforms, they're set up the same to where after you watch one episode or after you watch one video, then it jumps to the next, right? However, if we begin to tap into a level of self-discipline and we say, well, no, not today. I'm going to watch one episode, and then after that episode, I'm going to stop it, and I'm not going to let it jump to the next video. Right? So that's one way right there. If we know that typically we sit down and we watch YouTube or we watch Hulu, Netflix, etc., and we know that we'll sit there typically and watch 2, 3, 4 videos, 2, 3, 4 shows, but we cut it off at 1 or 2, that right there is saving us 50% of the time. Right? So that's looking at an hour. That's looking at 30 minutes. That's looking at whatever amount of time that show is that now we're taking back control of. So that's one area we can begin to focus. Also, by limiting our intake on social media. I'm guilty. I wanted to go to this one first, but that's why I'm hitting on this second. It's because I know for me, when I get on social media, I always have to go, oh, look at the notifications. Look at the notifications. So I click the notifications, scroll down, and then I tweet back to my friends. I'd respond back to my DMs on Instagram. But the trick we began to see here is this. What if when we wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is not check our phone for notifications? What if the first thing we do in the morning is we wake up and then we go sit in our chair? Those of you who might be watching, you see, this is my red chair. It's my maroon chair. I come here and I sit down every single morning without fail. Every single morning I come up here. Sometimes I come up here later than others, just like today. I was up here right before 5 o'clock in the morning, but typically I've been waking up at 4:30. But I come, I sit down, and I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. I just relax. Listening to my praise and worship music, then I read my devotional. And after I read my devotional, then I get on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and I post a snippet just breaking down the scripture that I studied this morning and just putting out a prayer. But then I hop off social media right after that. And then I get back to doing the work that I need to do, which those of you who have been following me for a little bit of time, you know I do my to-do list. Every day I have a to-do list that I wrote out the night before. So this helps me stay organized. This helps me tighten up on my time and understanding first things first, like we said, assess how much time we're spending watching shows. And then we're able to stop the recorder, stop the show, stop the TV, stop the video after we watch one video or two videos as opposed to 3 or 4. So we're taking back that time. But then on the other part, when we go on social media, we post and then we hop off. I specifically do that because I don't want to get caught up in social media, and I don't want to get caught up commenting and going on looking for something and forgetting what it was. So now I can take 5 minutes to hop on and check 3 social media platforms versus hopping on and staying on there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, scrolling down, laughing, looking at all these things. So that's 2 ways tangibly that we can assess our time. And the last one is finding time or making time to ultimately get in a little bit of fitness. John, what? You talking about fitness? You don't never talk about fitness. I mean, I haven't before, but you all, one thing I've been doing here the past, 2-3 weeks now at this point, I've been getting out and I've been running. Yes, I've been running. John, why have you been running? Because I want to be elite in every level of my life. Right? So 2 days I run, and then the third day I'll walk. So the past 2 days I ran 3 miles each day, and then I walked the day before the days I ran. And why am I doing that? One, I'm giving myself a day for recovery because I'm realizing that my knees need some time to heal. But 2, I realize that when I'm out running, I get ideas for presentations. When I'm out running, I just feel free. When I get out and I run, I feel good. Just being able to get that sweat and being able to get that dopamine hit and feeling the endorphins and all that good stuff. So I would encourage you to find a place to where you can prioritize your fitness. Just find a place for it. Because when we begin to work out, then we begin to feel better. We begin to feel like we have more energy, which I do. And then we're able to do more things, right? So going back, like I said, audit your time. Take time today and just assess, where are you spending most of your time? Is it watching TV? Are you spending most of your time on the phone with other people who are calling you and they didn't take the time to let you know they're going to call you, but they called you in the middle of the day and they're throwing your plans off? Or lastly, is it you not doing any fitness, or are you doing, I don't want to say too much fitness, but ultimately when we began to make these things priorities and we began to make these things that we're standing behind, that are tried and true, this is how we know that they are priorities to us, as well as our significant others, our business partners, or whoever else we may be working with. They know it's a priority to us as well. So then we began to communicate those things and we began to weave it all in, and it works out very, very smooth. So my friends, this is TEDx speaker and best-selling author Jonathan Jones reminding you, first things first, share this episode with one person you know it will help, you know it will encourage, you know it will inspire. But in addition to that, I want to remind you to speak your success, believe in your greatness, and continue to create the life and business of your dreams. Why would you want to live any other way? If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. Type in Jonathan Jones Speaks. I would love to hear more from you. I'd love to hear any topic you would desire for me to cover, because I want to ultimately make sure that I'm serving and supporting you at a very high level. Take care, my friends. We'll talk soon.